Hello and welcome to another scrap tip for today. Today I'm going to just show you a couple of extra little tips for getting a really sharp black and white photo out of a color photo. So here I'm starting with this nice wedding photo that is in great shape as for color. It's been beautifully edited. But let's say that we just wanted to turn this black and white and give it the same classic beauty that it is in color. So to do this, something that I always suggest doing when you're editing a photo and changing anything is we're going to duplicate it. Now to duplicate it, we're going to go up to Edit. You're going to go to Image, down to Duplicate, and then click OK. And you can name it something if you want, but for this I'm just going to keep it the copy name. As you notice up here, we've still got the original here, and then this is our duplicate. So this way the original is not being changed at all. And it also pops it up a lot closer so we can see a lot more of what we're working with here. Okay, so now we're going to just make a double layer. So if we slide this down to the little paper, then we get a copy background here. And yes, it probably seems a little redundant to have two copies, but it saves steps so that if at some point you don't like this layer and what's happening with it, and you want to immediately go back to the original, rather than pulling up this other that we can just close out of, we can just turn off that layer. And it also gives a nice way to contrast a before and after. So duplicate and then make an extra copy on top. Okay, now we're going to go up to Image. And just one sec, we're going to go to Image and Adjustments. Now you'll see here that there is a black and white option. We're going to click on that just so that we can kind of get a feel, and this will be kind of the beginning part of what we're going to do. Now, you could just click OK and be okay with that. But something that I like to do is mess around with these little sliders. Basically what you're going to do is, this is going to give a little more shadow, a little more grayish or lighter colors based on what you want to touch up. So, for example, if we do the red one, if you notice, and we take this really far, this is mostly dealing with skin tones in this picture. So we obviously wouldn't want to go that far, and just like if we went all the way white, it's too white. But depending on if you had a lot of shadows, or in this case, I think that the arm and stuff here, it's kind of a little bright. So I'm just going to take it down just a notch, and it just gives a little more, kind of just adds a little more of the skin tone there. So that's about 9%. Now the yellows also add to this, because if you think about our skin color, it's kind of there's a lot of reds and yellows in that. So again, I'm just going to kind of play with it a little. But the idea is you really want your main subject of the photo to kind of pop, and the rest of it to not be as noticeable. With the greens, this is mostly, as you recall in the photo, we had a lot of green back here with the trees and the grass. So if we kind of move this up a little, it just kind of makes that all blend just a little more. And the blue, again, we can kind of, if we want it extra blurry, because the photo had been a little bit blurry in the background. So the idea is we just kind of want to make it so that the focal point, which is our couple, is what pops the most. Okay, so now when we get that pretty much what we like, then we click OK. And it'll just take a minute, but okay, there we go. Okay, now the next thing that we can work with a little bit is our adjustment layer. And with this, we can, when we click on one of these, so like the brightness and contrast, let's create that. It creates a mask. This is going on above our photo. And I'll show you what's really cool about that. So here we can just kind of play around if we want to make it a little brighter. We've talked about this in a few other tutorials dealing with editing, and we don't want to do a lot of brightness, but we kind of want to add a little bit. And then the contrast. So all the way down kind of takes, there's no contrast, and all the way up, there's a lot of contrast. So we're going to keep the contrast kind of somewhere around the middle. We don't want anything too drastic here. Okay, so now we can close that out. And you see here, there's the layer for the brightness. Now let's just, let's do a little bit with levels. Now this one's nice because what I like about levels is it helps to deal with the blacks and the whites in the photo. So if we want to bring the whites brighter, we can go that way. If we want to increase the darks, we go that way. So, and then here in the middle, it just kind of goes between the two. So again, nothing drastic, but these are just a little something that you can kind of mess around with. We'll kind of leave it there. And as you can see here, it created the levels above there. Okay, so now what I want to show you is just the differences. If we take these off, here's where our photo was just by adding, changing it to black and white. But by adding a little brightness and contrast, we get this, and working around a little with the levels, we get that. So that's just kind of a nice thing that we can do there. Now the last step I like to do with the photo is if you have it to where you like it, we're going to just copy this again. Oops. Okay, and duplicate layer. There's another way that we can duplicate, since my mouse is not wanting to participate very well. And we're just going to move it to the top. Now with this one, we're going to go up to Filter, and then click under Other, High Pass. And this is going to give the gray on the photo. And this is just a way to kind of sharpen the photo. So we're going to take the radius of this down so that there's very little of the photo showing. It's almost all grayed out, and then click OK. Now we're going to take this and we're just going to change it to soft light. Okay, and just to give you an idea, again, this is nothing drastic that this has done. There is without it, and there's with it. So it's very, very subtle, and it can be more or less subtle how you want it. It just kind of gives a little extra pop, and that's all there is to it. I suggest saving it as a layer, and then so that you always have a layered copy of this, because at any time you can click on one of these and make changes to it. So thank you for joining us.